not only now chairman of the Department of Education at Antioch, but also General Secretary of the Anthroposophical Society of America. And it is he who gave shape to many of the programs we are celebrating this morning with the graduates. I would therefore invite Joan to come up here to introduce our commencement speaker and the musical interlude that follows.
Joan Almon spent many years as a kindergarten teacher, really working on a daily basis with the children and practicing much of what we have talked about here this summer. She became a leader in the early childhood movement and the Early Childhood Association and really pioneered the work of bringing people together so that they could collaborate and work on behalf of the larger picture, not just out of their own singular classrooms. Joan also accepted the invitation to serve as General Secretary of the Anthroposophical Society, a position which she held for 5 years, my predecessor. And in the last years, she has worked tirelessly on behalf of the rights of children and the Alliance for Childhood. That work has taken Joan out beyond the confines of the Waldorf movement. And I was impressed in speaking with her some weeks ago that, for example, on the board of the Alliance, I believe she is the only Waldorf person. So she has formed a collaborative group with professors and leading thinkers and doers in the educational world in this Alliance for Childhood. And her work has not only taken her all over the world, but she has become recognized as a leading spokesperson for children and the protection of childhood. She sits on numerous panels and is often called upon to speak with many others. And the media has discovered Joan, and in recent years she's appeared on CBS. Yesterday, I believe she declined an invitation for Fox News, not because of their political orientation, but because she was coming up here to some of the program. So Joan is a practitioner, a leader, and someone who brings heart warmth, clarity of insight, and complete dedication to everything that she does. It is an honor to have Joan with us today.
Someone had in Germany on a streetcar sitting behind two boys about age 10 who just met there on a streetcar. One went to the Waldorf school in Stuttgart, one went to a public school, and so they were talking, and this Waldorf teacher behind them was listening, and heard the one boy say, the public school boy say, "Oh, what's the difference between Waldorf education and public education?" The Waldorf student thought for a moment and said, "Well, you see, in Waldorf schools, the teachers do all the work, and the children don't do that." In public schools, the children do all the work, and the teachers don't do that much. I always thought there was some truth in that. I hope it's not totally right, but definitely some truth in it. social issues, and I got very involved with the civil rights movement, the anti-poverty movement of the 1960s. And then eventually, a few years later, I turned to education